All right, so here we go on another edition of Ultimate 49ers. Welcome. So today, I think it makes sense with the draft about a month out. There's going to be a million scouting reports and projections over the next month for which quarterback is best. There's going to be smoke screens, there's going to be evaluations, rumors, you name it, it's coming. Get ready. All I care about and all you care about, I'm guessing why you're listening, is who the Niners are going to pick or who they should pick at number 3, we think. So let's jump into it. I'm going to try to dissect not all in this pod or this video, but kind of one quarterback at a time. So today, based on recent events yesterday with Mr. Fields, who lit the world on fire during his pro day, let's dive into him a little bit. I'm not a scout, but what I've tried to do is pull some information from multiple sources, people that I like listening to, who I think are really knowledgeable about the game, about scouting. One of them being Greg Cosell, Ted Nguyen, Lance Zierlein. Relate it, break it down specifically to the 49ers, and obviously being a huge fan and watching every game, how that relates to Kyle's offense and just what I try to think he's going to do. So Fields is up first. Let's get to it. So Justin Fields, 22 years old, 6'3", 227. He started 22 games in college, as it's well documented. Went to Georgia as the number 2 overall prospect in the recruiting class that year. Second to Mr. Trevor Lawrence himself. Funny how things work out. So needless to say, he's kind of answered the bell in college and lived up to it. He left Georgia after he did not get the starting nod to Jake Fromm a couple years ago. Boy, Kirby's kicking himself pretty good for that decision. But he took his talents up to Columbus and won a whole lot of games for Ohio State. So he's ended up starting 22 games in college. He attempted about 618 passes from what I could gather. A good amount, not horrible, not the most. He wasn't obviously a 4-year starter and doesn't quite meet the Bill Parcells 3-year starter requirement. But, for someone who transferred and, didn't start right away, he took a lot of snaps under center. So some of the pros, Justin Fields. So obviously, he is a big, strong athlete. This kid, he's the prototypical size for an NFL quarterback. I don't think anymore there's too many guys out there that are that 6'6" prototype. Peyton Manning, I know Trevor Lawrence is, hence why he's going to probably go number 1 here. But he has all the tools, right? So when you look at Justin Fields, the first thing that pops into mind is accuracy. This guy, Ian Morton, he is at NFL Film Study, had a really good breakdown last month. He broke into it and said Fields' career accuracy ranks 7th overall, under 10 yards. He's 6', 11 to 19 yards, 14th in 20-plus attempts. So when you look at it, 4th in throws past the line of scrimmage. He's 1st in throws over 10 yards, 3rd under pressure, 13th on 3rd and 4th down, 3rd best touchdown rate per pass percentage, and that's compared to 88 quarterbacks. So what does this all mean? Justin Fields is pretty accurate. Justin Fields, a lot of people think, in what I heard throughout the season, is he was inconsistent as a passer. He didn't quite deliver on the throws that needed to be made in some of the bigger games, but the accuracy is there. The numbers don't lie. He's got a strong arm. The ball effortlessly explodes out of his hand. If you watched the pro day yesterday, again, I know it's in a controlled environment, in a scripted environment, but the dude's got a cannon. The ball just explodes when he wants to. He can throw from multiple angles. He can throw on the run, hence him being that athlete. He's confident and capable to make throws at all 3 levels. So what I mean by that, Ian Morton hits on that. 0 to 10 yards, he's good. He's good in that intermediate, kind of that 11 to 19. And Justin Fields airs it out. He goes deep, and he is good on the deep ball. So he has the arm to do it. He likes doing it. He is a passer first for even how good of an athlete he is, which is pretty unique. Some of the things, too, He's tough. He'll hang in the pocket. He'll take hits. He'll play through an injury. We saw in Clemson. That hit he took, scrambling was vicious, and he came back in stronger than ever. Dominated Clemson, right? So one of the videos that I thought was pretty awesome I saw out there was this one versus the Tide. As you can see, like the pocket is completely collapsing on him. He hangs in. We've seen running quarterbacks where they may step up and take it and run right there. Fields is looking to go down the field and looking to pass, which is what makes him pretty unique in my opinion. Again, running quarterbacks aren't looking downfield. That's something that needs to be trained. It's something that we still see with like Lamar Jackson, and we saw Josh Allen in his first couple of years was if the first read's not there, tuck it and go, right? So I think it's pretty unique that he's doing some of these things in college and, hanging in the pocket and taking that hit for that extra half second and, allowing his receiver to break, allowing his receiver to get open and deliver the football. Super important. The other thing that I think jumps out for Justin Fields, dual threat, right? He ran a 4.4 yesterday at his pro day. I think it's the fastest or the second fastest quarterback on time, in a long time that he ran. If you watch him run, it's just natural. He's not trying too hard necessarily. The dude can just fly. So incredible athlete. One of the clips that when I was watching some of the film and things on him that stood out that was just incredible was this play right here. An open rusher right up the middle. And he just sidesteps him, is able to collect himself, pivot, deliver on a crossing route. This is NFL. This is an NFL play right here. A lot of guys, again, they break it, they scramble, they run. They're going to tuck their head. They're not going to be looking downfield. Fields makes the right play here. And this is something that I just don't think you can teach, right? Like you can put into someone's brain on what to do in this situation or when this comes up. Some guys just have that knack of like, okay, I'm going to sidestep, I'm going to evade the rusher, I'm going to plant my feet, set, get my shoulders squared up, deliver the ball, right? So this play right here is pretty awesome. So those are a few of the plays that stood out when I was looking at them. The consensus with Justin Fields is the guy's got massive, huge upside if he's in the right system and given the right coach. Hint, hint, Kyle Shanahan. So needless to say, I think this guy is pretty legit. Some of the cons, right? Some of the things that I was able to read and break through, and again, I'm not watching hundreds of hours of film here, but some of the things that consistently popped up was he needs to trust his eyes and let it fly. Tighter windows in the NFL, obviously, he won't be able to hesitate, take that extra half second, take that extra, moment to breathe and kind of deliver the football or make sure I'm making the right decision. He's got to trust his instincts. He's got to trust, what he's doing. He was able to get away with that at Ohio State in certain situations. It's not going to fly in the NFL. So he's got to trust his eyes. He's got to get used to constant progression type reads and offense. So he did that at Ohio State. I know he ran not quite as gimmicky of an offense as people think, but, it was an RPO type situation where, he would look to that hot route and hope that it's there. But he actually had a lot of plays based on some of the film and some of the people I was reading that he would get to his second, third, fourth read. So he can do it. He has done it, and I think he gets a year under his belt. He gets the offense under his belt and gets comfortable. He'll be fine. He's shown he can do it. And really the other kind of criticism thing that stood out was he needs to improve his pocket awareness. So, he will scramble because he's got the ability to. He will pull his head down. He will try to get a little too flashy as far as trying to make a play versus sometimes just taking the easy route, or in the NFL, that might mean throwing the ball away, right? Live to fight another down. So just needs to improve on that. Those are all things that, you can improve on. The more reps you take, again, this kid has only played 2 years in college. He's young, 22 years old. So those are some of the criticisms, of him. Right or wrong, that's just what people are saying. That's what people see. Why I believe he is a legitimate option or should be considered by the Niners. When you look at what they gave up, right? They mortgaged a lot to get up to number 3. In my opinion, if I were a GM, if I were Kyle Shanahan, you got to be looking at someone that gives you something more than Jimmy Garoppolo. And it's more than just staying healthy, right? If you were just looking for a guy to stay healthy, you could have signed Andy Dalton. You could have signed, Mitch Trubisky. You could have taken some of those guys that have played way more than Garoppolo and stayed fairly healthy, and ran your offense. That's the one thing I keep hearing, right? Someone who could just run Kyle's offense. I don't believe that you trade up to the 3rd overall pick, give up, not only this year's or swap or whatever you want to call it, and give up 3 additional picks to go get someone who can run your offense, right? They're looking for someone who can take them to the next level. I think Fields is a surefire top 5 pick, top 5 talent. He was a blue chipper and elite prospect coming out of high school. He delivered in college. He's got insane upside. I watch Fields play, and I think that this guy could be Kyler Murray. He could be Cam Newton. He could be that mold where not only can they be a dynamic thrower, Kyler more than Cam, obviously, but they can get the ball where it needs to go in the passing game, but you can design an offense where and allow Fields to, control the game with his legs and be that threat where defenses really have to respect it. I mean, that's the one thing that's underrated. We talk about with Kyle's offense, why Garoppolo's so great and why he's amazing in play action is because they have an amazing running game, right? Defenses can't just put 8 back in coverage because they'll get grinded to the ground. Now imagine a Kyle Shanahan offense where you've got a dynamic running game, you've got a passing play action game with George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and then imagine a quarterback that runs a 4-4. Those are 3 things that defenses have to worry about every single time they snap the huddle, and that makes things extremely hard for a defense to prepare for. So, again, I'm just trying to read the tea leaves, and I think Kyle's smart enough to realize that and say, what can I do with this kid where I can have a play action game and a rollout game where, there's 3 ways to slice and dice a defense every single time. Seems pretty awesome to me. So, in my opinion, it gives the Niners a true, real potential rock star at the position that they've been looking for a really long time. So, if you want to compete for Super Bowls yearly, year in and year out, you need someone at the quarterback spot, the most important position in the sport, on your team, who's dynamic, who can win games for you, doesn't need everything perfect around him because he can beat you with his arm or he can beat you with his legs in a bunch of different ways. So I just look at it where you have Kyle Shanahan, widely respected as one of the best minds in the game on offense. You put a talent like Justin Fields around him and in this guy's hands. And then you think about Kittle, Deebo, Ayuk, all the weapons around him that they're going to continue to add to. A surefire offensive line and a defense that has Bosa and Warner, and it seems pretty dangerous to me. So if it was me, I'd be swinging for the fence here. I would be going for the home run, grand slam. Sure, there's risk with every pick. I think there's risk with Zach Wilson. I think there's question marks on Trey Lance. There's question marks on Mac Jones. Everyone's got a different opinion, but I think you look at the upside for this kid and you look at what he could be. If you're telling me you're giving me Kyler Murray with a team that's ready to win a Super Bowl right now, I don't see how the Niners aren't one of the favorites to be in the Super Bowl next year. So that's my take. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter. That's at VinnyLevine29. And yeah, hopefully I can get some more videos out to you guys breaking down some of the other quarterback options at 3. So until next time, peace.